Guys, we have a big breaking news coming out. Nation against nation is really building up today. Early this morning, I posted a video. Putin put out a message that he told the Europeans, if you guys are ready for war, then we go to war. Putin also said that he doesn't want war with the Europeans. Now, yesterday, Europe put out a message about a preemptive strike. So things are really looking tough when it comes to nation against nation. Now you have Air Force nuclear specialist warns, stay away from 3 UK towns as Russia warns of World War III. Alright guys, before I start, for those of you that want to send us letters or prayer requests, you can send it to me, US Santiago, or my wife Jessica Santiago at 3432 US Highway 19, number 2, Holiday, Florida 34691. And for those of you that want to contribute to the channel, we do have the Cash App link and the PayPal link in the comments box and also description box. Once again, thank you so much for your support. It says here you have Gene Stitko, national security expert, an ex-Air Force nuclear protection specialist, has weighed in on the current state of global conflict and where we might want to avoid an outbreak of a third world war. Now, guys, NATO has been sounding the alarm. They've been saying that, they're going to be invaded. They're going to get hit. Russia's not through with Ukraine. They're going to go after Poland, Romania, or whatever NATO alliance. And so these last few years, they urged their citizens to stock up, get your emergency kit ready, and prepare for possibly war with the bear, Russia, because Russia is not through. Now, Putin today, he said, you guys are talking nonsense. I'm not going to go after you guys, but if you want war, just let us know. A former U.S. Air Force nuclear protection specialist has named 3 places in the UK to avoid in the event of World War III. The advice comes after Russia issued a chilling atomic warning to the world. Well, let's see what's going on here. Putin's biggest... I'm going to skip that name. You have Major General of Aviation Popov sparked all-out war fears by responding to NATO plan to strike Russia in a more aggressive way this week. Okay, so we did talk about this yesterday, that preemptive strike warning, and again, Russia has every right to respond to that. He claims such plans could lead to full-scale nuclear war. But if that does happen and bombs start dropping in the UK, where should we avoid? Well, again, if you guys just keep your mouth silent and stop provoking the bear, the UK will be fine. Gene Stinko, a national security expert and ex-Air Force nuclear protection specialist whose duties included safeguarding USAF personnel, aircraft, and nuclear weapon system, was decorated with the Nuclear Deterrence Operations Service Medal with an device and achieved the rank of Staff Sergeant before his honorable discharge in 1991. I don't know, guys. I do believe that eventually one day Europe and the bear would go at it, and it would be catastrophic. Nobody's gonna win it. In an exclusive interview, the former security specialist claimed there were 3 specific towns and cities in the UK people should avoid. It says here, certainly anywhere near the US and NATO facility, he said. Otherwise, the key military centers, Telford, Plymouth, South Yorkshire, and the southeast and southwest of England. Well, it does make sense that the first thing they're gonna do is hit those bases, and then possibly go after the grids. So they do have a target list. Every country has a target list. Even the US has a target list. When it comes to World War III, the question is if they could hit the target. That's the big question. It says here more specifically, he was asked to name the city or town in the UK he believed an adversary will likely strike if it launched a strike tomorrow. He replied, Naval Centers. This is the UK strength and lifeline. Strike at Plymouth and Barrow-in-Furness. Wow. The HMNB Devonport, the UK's biggest naval base, is situated in Plymouth. Meanwhile, in the Shropshire town of Telford sits a large Ministry of Defence site, Donington, which acts as a major logistics center for the British Armed Forces. Now, Barrow-in-Furness boasts the only facility in the UK that designs and builds nuclear submarine for the Royal Navy, BAE System Submarine Solutions Shipyard. Speaking to Moscow newspaper, you have Major General of Aviation Vladimir Popov warned that there will be consequences for any state that uses Storm Shadow missiles. That's not World War III threat. That's just a warning. You know, again, you have the European sending Storm Shadow to Ukraine, and they're warned if we get hit with that, it's going to be game on. It's like this. Imagine if Russia sends like Orishnik or hypersonic missile to Cuba or Venezuela. Give me a second here, guys. Give me 1 second. There we go. Now, he said, if a military officer makes such statement, it means operational planning is already underway, because NATO headquarters is engaged in planning operational strategic missions, not launching, say, a single tactical missile. In this case, we could be talking about planning a massive or group strike on Russian territory, for example, using Storm Shadow missiles. But we must understand that there will be consequences. Yep. There will be consequences for any state that uses these equipments. Poland, Romania, or even Germany could theoretically do so. But that will be World War III. I agree. These Storm Shadows belongs to, I think, France, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Britain. I could be wrong, the Storm Shadow. But those missiles are very powerful, and if it hit Russia, they warned that it would spark World War III. I mean, like I say many times, why are we sticking our nose in their operation? That's their business, what they do. But again, the Sleeping Giant is a whole bunch of Warhawk. We've been involved in so many wars. It's not even funny. Look up how many wars have we been involved since World War II. 80-something war, I think. 80-something we've been involved. I never knew the Sleeping Giant was a bunch of Warhawks like that. And again, I'm not trying to be mean here. I'm speaking facts. The Sleeping Giant has gotten involved in many wars. Now add up how many were taken out throughout all these wars. Just add it up. It ain't thousands. It's millions and millions and millions. We're talking about a lot of numbers. The Sleeping Giant is responsible for a lot of stuff that went on in the world ever since WW2. In further comments, it says here, he alleged that NATO will be not smart to launch an attack on Kaliningrad region in Russia, but also believes the alliance is ready for such a preemptive strike. And that, ladies and gentlemen, will lead to WW3. Now I want to show you something here. Give me a second, guys. All right, so here we go. Here's another one. So NATO just warned the bear it may strike preemptively. Why? Because it's NATO. For the first time since the Cold War ended, the man whose job is to coordinate all NATO armed forces, Lieutenant Admiral Dragon, has openly said that the alliance is ready to strike the bear first if Moscow's sabotage campaign goes any further. Now, he spoke plainly. NATO now reserves the right to act preemptively, pointing to the relentless wave of strike on European and American infrastructure, arson in defense plants, severed undersea cables, widespread GPS jamming, trains derailed under suspicious circumstances. None have killed enough, to trigger Article 5, but the fingerprints are unmistakable. This is not a slip of the tongue, it is a deliberate policy. So what it actually means? The old rule, we only hit back after you hit us, is dead. NATO has decided that swallowing endless hybrid strike attacks without a credible threat of real retaliation is no longer an option. By putting the possibility of a first strike on the table, the alliance is trying to draw a line that would carry weights. So basically, NATO's furious. Hit us, bear! Hit us! Hit us, Putin, so we can activate Article 5. So again, they're really upset because they're not getting hit. So the bear must now decide whether to keep escalating, gambling that NATO will hesitate when the moment comes, or to pull back before one of its accidents is answered with something it can't deny. Alright, so I'm going to share that one. Very long, but you guys get the picture here. NATO is basically trying to get the bear to hit them. The bear is saying, I'm not in war with you guys. Mind your business. The bear leader Vladimir on Tuesday warned Europe that if the bloc started a war with the bear, Russia, then Moscow was ready to fight it. I mean, like I said, I just feel like the alliance, they want war with the bear. They don't want to be the ones that, hey, we started it. They want to have some kind of excuse. Well, we got hit, poor Poland, they got hit really hard with the Orishnik. We decided to activate Article 5. We were minding our own business. We don't want to get involved, but we have to now. The bear is not going to hit Europe. I don't see that happening. Okay, so give me a second here, guys. Here's another one here. Putin shows almost no willingness to compromise. According to the bear officials and analysts, he has three non-negotiable pillars. Territory. Russia must keep all of Donbass and have its control over occupied territory formerly recognized by the US and Europe. Demilitarization. Ukraine armed forces must be heavily restricted, leaving the country with a far smaller military. Legal recognition. Any peace settlement must be written into international law to cement the bear Russia gains. They're still discussing this peace deal. Putin talks with Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner have entered their fifth hour. There's still no news coming out of the meeting, so they are still discussing. Jared Kushner is out there. You guys already know who Jared Kushner is. That's Donald's son-in-law. He was involved also in the Abraham Accord and also the peace deal that took place not too long ago. It was signed in Egypt by multiple foreign countries' leaders. So he's playing a huge role here when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. So I would keep you updated with all this news here, guys. But again, you got all this WWE3 news coming out, and you got UK is basically on alert, and Russia is basically urging Europe not to intervene when it comes to this peace deal. All right, so I would keep you updated with this news. Check out the videos I posted today. The links will be in the comments box. And make sure you hit that subscribe, hit that notification bell. And I will keep you updated with the news of Venezuela. So again, thank you so much for your support. God bless you all. Till next time later. Peace.